The world is starting to wake up and understanding that crypto and blockchain rails are here to stay. It is the evolution of the entire financial system. This is something that if you've been in the Ripple and XRP space for the last few years, you have known for quite some time. And it's only now that institutions are coming forward and admitting as much. Today, we're going to look at some of those commitments here, saying that 6 to 7 billion people will get a crypto wallet overnight through Android and Apple. That will push crypto's evolution on the global scale to the maximum degree. First, I want to play this older clip here. This is Apex Crypto Consulting talking about this image that we've all seen here in the XRP space. He gave a good analysis. I also want to show you that clip. I played this on another video, and this clip absolutely blew my mind. You have to hear what's in it. I also have some other Ripple and XRP content that we're going to go over, some new information from CME Group. Got to show you. Let's first start here with this clip, and let's get it.
They're all next to the XRP ledger, and you see how the commercial banks here are behind the central bank. So here's the commercial banks. They're behind the central bank. You have commercial banks, central banks, and then you have the XRP ledger. That's the M bridge right here. Let's look at that again. Exact same design here. You've got the central banks that are closer to the XRP ledger, and then commercial banks are behind. Central banks right next to the XRP ledger, and then commercial banks are behind the central banks. Central banks are between the XRP ledger and the commercial banks.
All right, so if you're interested in watching this person's full video, I'll just show you here their channel here. It's on, here's the X channel's got 3,500 followers, and I'll even show you here their YouTube channel if you're interested in taking a look. I'm not going to play this video here, but he's got about 14,000 subscribers. Worth checking out if you like XRP content. The person does some pretty good information. All right, I did want to play this because this clip freaking blew my mind. Absolutely insane. You have to hear this.
Wall Street's excited. They're going to tokenize a bunch of stuff. They're going to put it on blockchains. That's great. But I think Silicon Valley is going to be the distribution. In the next couple of years, Apple and Google are going to enable stable coins and a crypto wallet natively in iOS and Android. So kind of sort of overnight, 6, 7, 8 billion people are going to get a crypto wallet in their phone. They don't even have to ask for it. It's just going to be there.
6 to 7 billion people are going to get a wallet overnight. What's going to happen is you're probably going to be able to send money, crypto, stable coins, XRP, Bitcoin to anybody in the world that has an Android or an Apple phone, right? The phone number associated with the phone or the email associated with the phone as well. That's what you're going to be able to use as the wallet address to send this. What do you think happens when everybody wakes up with a crypto wallet on their phone? Then you think of like central banks, right? If they want to entice people to get onto this new ecosystem, right? These new digital rails, they can say, hey, here's $500 to sign up. We can send it right to your money mobile wallet. Just have to fill this out, fill this out, fill this out. I know there's a lot of people saying, Sensei, I would never do that. If they offered you 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000, at what point would you say yes? Because there will be a point for most people, and that point might not even be thousands of dollars. Think of about $500 or $1,000 could do with your family, right? Most people can't afford a $1,000 medical bill that comes up out of nowhere. People are working paycheck to paycheck, right? They are struggling just to get by. And if governments step in and say, here's some free money, people are going to take it.
There's going to be APIs in the operating systems for every single application. Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, you name it, is going to be able to tap into that API.
Is it happening more quickly than you thought, slower than you thought, or as you thought?
I mean, look, if you asked Kyle of 8 years ago, would crypto be like mature 8 years later, I would have said yes. And I would argue crypto is not really mature today, so slower than I would have thought. But I think a huge part of that has just been regulatory, which could never forecast. Genius happening has changed a lot of things. Even 30 days ago, it was like illegal for anyone in Silicon Valley, like any of the big tech companies, to actually do anything productive with crypto. That is no longer the case as of roughly 30 days ago. And I think once those guys flip the switch, that's when this goes truly.
All right. Here is a clip from Ripple Van Winkle. He was retweeting this. It says, JP Morgan and Ondo Finance are partnering to revolutionize finance. This is why, baby, you should be looking at Ondo. We've talked about this in almost every single live stream I've had for the last 2 years. We've been talking about Ondo, maybe a year and a half. It's been a long time.
Yes, I'm really thrilled to see how JP Morgan and Ondo have been able to work together so well. JP Morgan is the most reliable, largest bank in the US for a lot of good reasons. Ondo is a great tokenization platform that's made really high quality on-chain tokenized product, which is why I think JP Morgan chose to work with them. Nellie's point, this is a very collaborative and mutually beneficial relationship where on the JP Morgan side and the capital markets on the Ondo side, they both benefit from this integration and the ability for transactions to happen between these two groups. They both grow in the utility they provide to their client base. They both grow in what they're able to offer their users. The technical challenges of, how do you connect these two systems? How do you make sure that, value and data flows between them? How do they get synchronized in order to enable these two groups to interact with each other in these valuable ways, that has to meet a certain level of reliability and guarantees that Nelly and JP Morgan needs to see, and it needs to have the features and advanced capabilities that Ian and Ando need for their system to take full advantage of this kind of transaction.
Remember, most big banks, like the 10 largest banks, 15 largest banks in the world, they have understood that this was coming for quite some time. They have prepared, and they have all of this infrastructure already built out. But the thousands and thousands and thousands of other banks, sat on their hands, and they really maybe didn't even have the foresight to pre-plan until maybe regulation was happening, all of these things were happening. Those banks need infrastructure, and they need it quickly. And the best way to get that infrastructure is to go to Chainlink, to go to HBAR, to go to Ripple, to go to Circle, and borrow and use their infrastructure to connect to these new digital rails. This is going to be a boom cycle for the crypto space like we've never seen before. This is how the industry goes from 4 trillion to 100 trillion over the next 8 to 10 years. And I want to be a part of that, right? I think that I'm in the right place at the right time, understanding the right information, and I hope my future is bright, filled with all kinds of good things. It's already been filled with so many good things, right? 100,000 subscribers. Couldn't have done that without all your support and your love and your time and your energy, and that means the world to me. And I'm going to keep showing up every day to give you the latest news and information because I owe you that much. I really appreciate you. All right, High Vibe Assets. It says Ripple, Santander, PNC, Bank of America. Holy smokes. Inflows and outflows with institutional partners. XRPL is insane. And he says RLUSD to settle domestic transactions in seconds, less than a penny. Get your popcorn ready. Ooh, I love some popcorn. Oh my God, this weekend, my wife and I are going to go see K-pop Demon Hunters in the theaters. It's like a sing-along. I mean, I'm not super excited about the sing-along part, but I am excited to watch that movie in the theaters. Oh, it's one of my favorite movies in 2025 so far. I know what you're thinking. Go watch the movie and then criticize me. All right, let me just show you this. I plugged this information into Perplexity. I pulled some additional information. Here is that information. If Ripple and XRP were to capture even a fraction of institutional flows mentioned in this image, covering banks like Santander, SBI Holdings, Bank of America, PNC, and Standard Chartered, Shinhan Bank, Woori, and American Express, XRP's price could could see a dramatic upward pressure. Here's what the current analysis and model suggests. Institutional adoption is one of the strongest real demand drivers for XRP. When banks and large institutions use Ripple's technology for payments and settlements, the demand for XRP as a bridge asset rises, creating sustained utility based on buy pressure, not just hype-driven speculation. Price models estimate that XRP became the go-to international settlements across border major banks. The price could leap anywhere from $8 to $80 per token, depending on the percentage of global payments. Now, I want to take a look at this. If in fact XRP was announced to be the deciding factor for all of these institutions to use for cross-border payments or domestic payments or whatever it is, the demand, the FOMO level for XRP would far exceed this price, right? You got to understand that the ETF approvals, that is going to do a huge wonder for XRP's price. It could even send XRP into the 3 digits if we get hundreds of billions of dollars to come into XRP from fresh inflows over a few year period. Add this to the mix and other stuff that Ripple and XRP, XRP community and dev team are building, borrowing, lending, tokenization of financial assets, right? Ripple becoming a bank right now. There's so many things that you can look back and say, hey, you know what? I was right? We didn't get everything. We weren't right about everything, but we had the understanding of where this was going, and we believed in Ripple, the company. We believed in XRP as an ecosystem, as a blockchain infrastructure, and now we are here. A lot of what we thought is coming true, and I cannot wait to see where this all takes us. It does say if 1,000 top global banks held $500 million worth of XRP each for liquidity needs, XRP could reach $8. So I don't know where it's pulling this information from, but listen, if 1,000 institutions woke up tomorrow and started buying XRP, it would be all over but the shouting. The only place you would need to figure out at that thing, right? The only thing you would need to decide on that day is where are you going to retire, right? Do you want to stay where you are, or do you want to go to Hawaii or Japan, right? Or London? I don't know. Italy, Greece. Where would you want to retire? I'd love to better understand that. Chad Steingraber, of course, says CME. Like, Chad's a good guy. I don't agree with Chad on a lot of stuff, but me and him put our differences aside. He posts a lot of good information. I'm going to give him a shout out. A CME now is the 4th place and largest XRP open interest, nearing 1 billion. XRP futures are are growing, signaling stronger market demand for upcoming spot XRP ETFs. And here is that demand. CME, open interest. And look at all these: BitGet, Binance, Bybit. CME is 938 million and rising. It is getting kind of crazy here. I've been watching these contracts grow month over month, and it is getting very exciting. CME's XRP futures open interest is hitting all-time highs, now ranking 4th globally among exchanges for nearly $1 billion. As of August 21st, 2025, CME reported surpassing 6,000 contracts. This is without crypto regulation, right? Clarity Act. Now, they said the Clarity Act was coming in September. Now it sounds like they're trying to get it done before the end of the year. Regardless, whether it's September or whether it's November, this is going to be extremely bullish for the crypto space. And I would imagine this will double, triple, maybe even quadruple or higher over the next few years. I think it's just going to get insanely silly. This surge marks CME as the leading US regulated venue for XRP derivatives, signaling a powerful influx of institutional participation and demand for regulated XRP exposure. I think it was like 45% of the value going into CME, right? This is one of the largest derivatives platforms in America. A lot of this money is coming from overseas, right? There are overseas people in Australia, London, all of these different places, Japan, Korea, that are interested in these types of derivatives for XRP, and they are investing. Notably, institutional traders are driving much of CME's volume, fueled by recent regulatory wins and rising speculation for ETF approvals. Also, Lark Davis wanted to point out that we are not even at the close to the market being at the top. He says that none of the 30 bull market peak indicators are flashing right now, yet some people are convinced that Bitcoin and the entire crypto market has topped for the cycle. And so he's pointing out that some of these indicators include the Bitcoin AHR999 index, high cycle top indicator, Pule multiple, Bitcoin rainbow chart, days of ETF net outflows, and he's kind of showing kind of what it needs to be, ETF and Bitcoin ratio, 2-year MA multiplier, MV, RV, Z-score, Bitcoin bubble index, USDT flexible savings, RSI 22-day, altcoin season index. It should be at 75. This is at 51. Bitcoin dominance, right? 58% up, 68, 65. Bitcoin long-term holder supply, Bitcoin short-term, Bitcoin reserve risk, Bitcoin net neutralized profit. I mean, this is pretty much all the Bitcoin signals here. Surprised to see Coinbase on here, right? Coinbase reaching the #1 app, but here are all the things that he is looking at, and it doesn't look like we're even close. August and September are usually strange kind of months, choppy months. I'd imagine that October, November, December should be extremely impactful for all of our holdings. I'm really looking forward to these next few months. We've waited years. We've waited years for this, and now it's finally here. Let's go get it. Peace. Have a good weekend. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.